Hello, good afternoon. It is the afternoon. This is Dr. Stephen Evans, and I am the editor-in-chief, publisher, and these days, several other jobs here at Outclick Magazine. Since we started the magazine, we have had the privilege of working with so many fascinating and just really amazing entertainment arts groups throughout South Florida. One of them that has been really amazing to work with is the Wick Theater. Today, we are joined by Kimberly Wick, who is the Vice President and Museum Curator. Kimberly?
Hello, Stephen. Welcome. Thank you for having me. This is great. I like it.
Thank you. I've been to the museum. I've been to the theater. You all put on really amazing shows, and we are lucky to get to work with you, and lucky that you have taken the time to sit and talk with us. Tell us about, well, we've got you've got so many areas of things of people to do. Tell us a little bit about you and your role, because you like me, you wear many hats and kind of run the engine there.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Like you, and like anybody that's trying to keep their business afloat and keep engaged and keep people, thinking and in front of them. This is a really unique time, and I feel like I have. Before I said I've done everything in this building. Now I've done everything times two in this building. For about 6 weeks, I was here alone, about 10 in the morning till 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just trying to field a couple of calls and try to keep us all together. And now I have a couple of folks here with me, which is amazing. The box office staff is doing a bang up job, just trying to keep people informed. But I am the museum curator, which is one of my first loves. I love fashion, and of course I love costumes. I've been a costume designer for way too many years, and I love doing what we do. We've been in the costume business for over 40 years. And of course, my mother is the president of Costume World, the founder, and certainly the inspiration behind Costume World. And about almost 20 years ago now, we started buying Broadway costumes. And when a show closes in New York, we would go in and buy the wardrobe. And before too long, we had 20 or 30 wardrobes, and it was time to kind of give them a special home. So we did so in Pompano Beach in a warehouse. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, we said, this is kind of cool. Maybe we ought to have a tour. We have this exorbitant rent that would help pay the rent. And that became its own business within a matter of a couple of weeks of giving that first tour. And thereafter, we ran and operated there for several years, and then a couple of years. And then one afternoon, the fire marshal told us, can't do this anymore. So we looked around for another spot, and lo and behold, the Caldwell Theater Company, one of the amazing theater companies in South Florida for over 30 years itself, had fallen on some hard times, and the economy was in the tank, and the building that they had built was available, and we came in and we leased it with an option to buy, and it was a great place to set up our museum. And sure enough, 3.5 months after we signed our first lease, we produced our first show, which was The Sound of Music, with some Carbonell nominations. Miss Laureline Snedeker won one. And we opened up, our museum, which meant, $1 million worth of renovation to the building, and embarked on a journey that we didn't think we were going to have such a big intermission right now, but embarked on this journey that makes it about 7 years ago. So here we are in this magical space, wanting to do the magical things that we always do, and right now we're all on hold.
So you have there's the theater, which you see, but then now you are in the museum, which is a separate thing for people to experience.
Correct. The museum tours happen normally about 7 days a week. And this year's
Okay.
exhibit is titled The Roaring Twenties. And we pay homage to the incredible suffrage women that fought for the women's right to vote, which this summer in August we'll be celebrating 100 years of passing of the 19th Amendment. So of course we celebrate that at the beginning. Then we talk about 9 Broadway shows. You know, Broadway's been having a love affair with the Roaring Twenties for a long time. So we talk about all those beautiful wardrobes, including Angela Lansbury's original costumes from Mame. And, you know, we have an exhibit, a little section that salutes Erte. And we talk about Chicago and Thoroughly Modern Millie and No No Nanette and so many others. And then the space I'm sitting in right now is our little, if you want to call it a dedication, but we talk about Prohibition, which of course, again, passed 100 years ago in January. So right now we would be in the very beginning of a 13-year dry spell for alcohol. That's how long it lasted. And so we do a little, you know, little history of Prohibition and the fabulous wardrobe that people wore during this time, because going to the speakeasy at your corner was, you know, kind of a fun thing to do.
So in addition to all of the shows that you put on, people should also be paying attention to all of the themes and all the things you've got going on there at the museum, because you're continually showing, you're continually coming up with new ideas. And that's a whole nother experience for people. When I first started working with the Wick Theater and they came to the museum, I realized, wow, you've got so many more fun things going on there, and they can come to your restaurant.
Yes, yes, we have a lovely restaurant as well. Now this summer, because of, you know, what's happening on our planet, we've kind of shifted things around, scaled things back a little bit, but also, like so many of us in business, we've tried to reinvent an atmosphere that is safe, that is welcoming, and just brings a little joy maybe to our day. So our dining room, we're now offering a cabaret and dinner combination in the main lobby, which has the capacity to seat 220. We are going to have 45 guests in that space. We have tables 6 feet apart. We've hired 4 amazing performers and a beautiful pianist. And the entertainment will be in a space that keeps the entertainers, singers who are projecting, you know, much farther from our audience, but beautiful dining experience. And we're looking forward to that. It starts on June 4th, 5th, and 6th. So we're going to offer it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night throughout the summer, or, you know, we might close it in September as we're getting ready for the next show at the Wick Theater, which is Nonsense with Cindy Williams.
Yes.
Yeah.
There, and we'll talk a little bit about that. There is the dining experience under normal conditions too. I was amazed that there's the entrance with a lot of tables and then the restaurant. And so if people have not been there to eat, it's not just the theater, it's not just the museum, it's also the dining experience. And as under normal conditions, you all had so many events and so many things. You had a big New Year's Eve blowout, bash. And it was really, really amazing. So like everyone else, you're working things out, but I anticipate you will have even more events and things like that to come as things unfold.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And our dining room, which many of you are, you know, have a little toe still left in New York, and, you know, the wonderful city. But the dining room is dedicated, and it is literally, it feels like a replica of the Tavern on the Green. So that's kind of cool. We have the chandelier and you know, crystal and china and all that fun stuff from Tavern on the Green. So you kind of feels like you're there, which makes it kind of fun.
Yeah. It's a whole night experience of coming to the Wick Theater. So we're excited about how you're going to be unveiling things, and you're working things out like everyone else, and will provide a very safe space. I wanted to mention too, when I was there, Marilyn is your mother. When she steps out on the stage, she speaks to the crowd like she is talking to everyone one-on-one, and she absolutely owns the stage. She speaks to people. I was just so impressed. She just spoke to the crowd like she's just sitting there at the coffee table, talking to people, and she is so proud of the theater, so proud of the work. I enjoyed just listening to her speak almost as much as the show, because the way she just walks out there and just talks and just absolutely owns the crowd. And looking at the crowd, I think everyone knows Marilyn Wick personally. It was just a really nice touch, the way she steps out and makes that personal touch before the show.
Yeah, it is a unique, I've worked as a costumer and a wardrobe person, in probably, well, about seven, I counted them up many years ago, like 75 theaters in the United States. And, there is something that I'm reminded, our patrons remind me about all the time. And they say, it is like an experience to come to the Wick, but it's also kind of like going and sitting down in your own living room, because we're, a family here. I mean, my mother and I are obviously really family, but our staff, many of them have been here 5 and 6, and as almost as long as I have, 7 years. And we all work together, and people tell us all the time, I really do feel like I'm part of this. And our patrons are a part of it. I mean, they're very much a part of every aspect of what we do. When they smile on their way out with that big smile on their face, I say, we did something right, because that's what it's all about. And my mother, she doesn't like doing the curtain speeches, or maybe she's got a little more, become more comfortable with them for sure. But at the beginning, we had to kick her out on the stage, and I would say, just relax. And she had to kick me out on the stage, because, of course, I do some of them as well. But now we're kind of like, oh, I want to go talk to everybody and, tell them how much they're going to love the show. And it's easy when you believe in something, I know, Stephen, that you are passionate and you believe in what you do. And I knew the first time, which is about 5 years ago, sadly, it took us a little longer to get connected with you, advertising all the time, but I knew the first time I opened up one of your publications, I knew that OutClick is where we should be, because it just felt good. It just felt like the right place for us to be.
Yeah. Well, someone said a long time ago, people rarely remember what you say or do. They will remember how you made them feel. Yeah. And I don't remember what Marilyn said on the stage that day. I do remember feeling, this is a really cool place. And the theater is large enough that you put on shows, but there's not a bad seat in the house either. And it did feel like a very, very comfortable place to be. Yeah. And we saw the Music Man.
That was my question. What was the last show you saw? Did you see Music Man?
We saw Music Man, which has so many iconic songs in it that you are in it. Then when you hear it, you think, oh, there's that song and there's that song. And then for 3 weeks, those songs are running through your head that you've heard forever and a day. Yeah. Yeah.
John Tartaglia was a fabulous Harold Hill, and Julie Kleiner Davis was our Marion. And I've said this to her. I've said it to several other people. I just think she's been in several shows here at the Wick Theater. She's our next magical moments and magical memories. But her voice was so beautiful. I thought she was so amazing in the show. And the two of them had this, really great chemistry on stage. And it was a beautiful show. I wasn't excited about doing Music Man 2 years ago when we talked about it. But after it opened and when it all just fell into place, you tap along and sing along to every song. Yeah,
it was good. And then we saw for Always with Patsy Cline. And that was another one that, one, I didn't know her story. And two, that's another one that you leave and the songs just go through your head because they're so iconic.
Yeah, I think there's 27 Patsy Cline songs in that production. And we had 2 Patsies for the run because it was, hard to sing all those songs twice a day. It was just not going to happen. Both of them were absolutely amazing. And I said, how do they both sound just like Patsy Cline, but they don't sound alike. I mean, they just were amazing. It was amazing. And Laureline Snedeker, again, was the absolute glue. She portrayed that Louise with a sassy little Texas twang, and but not, you know, kind of hokey pokey, a genuine, you know, with real heart. And that was a great show. A great show.
And you've got coming up, you were alluding to this earlier, you've got Nonsense with Cindy Williams coming up, which was scheduled for the spring, and now it's been delayed because of the current situation, but that's coming up.
Exactly. So we had 2 shows left in season 7. One of them was a chorus line, and which we did get to open for 4 performances. It has been postponed, not canceled, but we had to stop, you know, the show. And our intent and our hope is to have, you know, the cast back. We know of 2 that probably won't be able to come back because of prior obligations, and we're working out all of the details for a chorus line, because we have to deal with a very large cast. So Equity and the union, the actors union, will have stipulations on how many cast members can be on the stage and backstage and so forth, because just like all of us that are going to have social distancing, our castmates will have to, you know, they'll be in a similar situation backstage. So a chorus line, I'll talk to you about that in one second, because that's a little bit more up in the air as far as the exact dates because of the cast size. But Nonsense is a lovely cast of 5. Cindy Williams has signed new contracts, and Nonsense will be opening on September 10th, and it will run through October 4th. We certainly anticipate having to have social distancing in the theater, and which means we'll have, you know, parties of 2 and 3, 6 feet apart from other guests, and stagger the seating out. We already have a schematic for the auditorium, and that has been pretty approved, although I do think that there'll be some sort of formal approval process from the union. But we're very, very excited about doing the show. And our guests are, you know, people are actually already buying tickets again online. But we're going to have to jiggle people around just before we open to make sure that everybody can be safe. We have installed natural air dampers on all of our AC units. So we're going to have some natural air coming into the building every 3 times an hour, which is amazing, the difference it's made just for us, like being in here. We're like, wow, it just feels different having, you know, this situation. We've purchased the UV lights, which most of us have on our homes, but now we have them in the theater, the auditorium, and the lobby. So that's all we could afford right now because they're not inexpensive. But we have taken that precaution. Of course, we'll be taking folks' temperature at the door, and everyone will be required to wear a mask, which now after 3 months is kind of feeling very normal.
It is.
So, yeah. I mean, it feels less awkward for sure. So, and I'm saving a ton on lipstick.
I think we're all ready to go back to the barbershop and the trims and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
I've been dyeing my own hair, which has been a few different colors. So don't get too close. When one of the staff guys here, who's an internet genius, Wellerson, was back here helping me set up, I said, now he goes, well, this picture will be a lot better. I said, don't make it too good. Just enough.
Arthur is helping me. I'm going to have him pull up your website with the information on the show. So we're gonna have him do that in the background. Right. But yeah, my mother called me about a month, six weeks into this, and she said, I'm cutting my own hair. She said, I don't know what else to do. And then a month ago, she said, I think I'm going to color my own hair. And I said, nobody's going to see it. What difference does it make? You're not leaving the house.
I know. I've had lots of people say that. And now they have, you know, when they have like a little thing you can put over your hair now too, you pull that whole stocking thing up. I'm like, well, that would even be better. Too bad I'm not
Yeah.
30 years younger.
Um,
The
you're.
Did I lose you? Oh no. No idea.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. I said we've all gone back to high school.
You have hiccups.
You have hiccups. I tell you what. I tell the story when I was organist at Emmanuel Baptist Church in Lexington. We had about 2,000 people on Sunday morning, and we were live on NBC. And Easter Sunday, we were playing, the Christ Lord is risen today, the Easter hymn. I'm the organist. I get ready to, I used to keep mints on the organ because when I would get nervous, for some reason, having mints just gave me something not to be so nervous. Right before the intro, I opened it and the entire bag of mints went all over the pedal board.
Oh no.
5 seconds before, and all I remember was trying to get all of the mints off of the pedal board before I had to play the intro for the Easter hymn on Easter Sunday on live television.
Oh,
after that, nothing bothers me.
Yeah, exactly.
This doesn't bother me after trying to clean off the pedal board with 150 choir members looking at me going, like this. They realized what had happened, and I just remember thinking, I have got to get these up. After that, a little hiccup doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
That's my big story with that.
Well,
So
I'll share with you, Steve. It's been kind of fun doing these magical moments because, I want to tell more of the backstage stories. I mean, all these little things that have happened. And I start telling them and I'm like, oh, somebody might get upset if I say, but they really are a whole story in themselves. All the things that happen, like you with the footboard and, I mean, it's what makes live theater live theater. There's a whole audience of people that love to come to opening night preview because they want to see something not click exactly right, so I don't know. I just love the theater. I can't imagine our community without theater. So
well, the live theater, the symphony, and all of these are what perpetuates our culture.
Absolutely.
And when all of this first started, what went through my mind was, if the symphony doesn't play Beethoven, who will? It will die. It's what perpetuates the culture. It's what, if you don't do the Music Man, if Broadway across America doesn't do Wicked, if they don't do these shows, that part of our culture eventually dies, because it is all of these people that tell the story, that keep our culture, that keep our arts and entertainment alive, that educate the children, that educate people and keep it going. Otherwise, it's just folders somewhere. And so that was what first, I think, worried me through this was, how do we keep our culture alive? Because the live arts and entertainment are what does it. It's what educates us. It's what keeps the music and the shows alive. And so I know it will come back, but that was the part that really kind of went to my heart when this started, was that was so important and is so important in keeping all that alive.
Yeah, I totally agree. Besides the economic impact that it takes on our community, and I mean our artistic community, our technical community, our supply chain, all of these amazing people that work in this creative world that we love. And when I meet young kids that are, really turn out, they really want to be in the theater, and they'll work in the box office, they'll clean the bathrooms. They don't care. They just want to be in the theater. I look at them, we start talking, we go through things. Most of them have been involved in theater since they were in 4th grade. This is a whole thing that nurtures our young people, all the way. And it doesn't matter what economic level you're in. It doesn't matter. It's just a nurturing community that that embraces all of our uniqueness and makes us better for it. And to not see it happening is very sad. So, I mean, well, we're going to get there. We're definitely going to get there. It's going to take.
We'll get there,
but we'll get there.
We'll get there. It's figuring out what are the new rules and what is the new social etiquette.
Yep.
But I realized one day there are smart people like you and the other people that are running the show that will figure it out, and it will come back in a way, and so it will happen. I wanted to. There's one individual that you work with I wanted to mention is Michael Walters.
Walters. Well, Michael, yeah.
He's the celebrity impersonator of Dame Edna, and he and I did an interview, and he does his shows, and he works with you. The Kentucky phrase is he's a hoot, which means he's really funny. And his shows are funny, and he just really does a great job and sings, but then he works with you guys too.
Michael is an amazing, amazing man. I definitely consider him a very dear friend. And Michael, we met out at the warehouse. Actually, we met a couple times prior to that, but the warehouse is where we really got to know each other. And at the museum out there, Michael was our cabaret entertainer on most days. And his stories, and I mean, that's where it began. But let me share with you, his Dame Edna show is bar none, of course, endorsed by the real Dame Edna. And it is just so much fun. But he has the most beautiful voice and can sing just about anything. I don't know technically if he's a baritone or what the heck he is, but he just has this glorious voice. He won a Carbonell for the Major General in Pirates of Penzance at the Wick Theater. How he learned all that tongue-twisting lyric, I don't know. But he's absolutely amazing. And he has had 3 Michael Walters shows at our theater with 333 seats and sold out every one of them. So to join him, now he's got a Zoom broadcast on Monday nights, which is, I haven't personally watched it yet, but I will be watching it next Monday, which I'm sure is hilarious. He's the only guy I know that has a shimmer curtain hanging up in his living room so he can do his podcast.
He might be the only one you know, but
Actually, when I think about it, I probably know more than one guy that has a shimmer curtain hanging in the living room.
In the living room.
Yeah.
But he's done a great job. There are nights that I will put him on the Chromecast and put it on the big screen on the TV in the bedroom, so it bounces to the 55-inch TV. So one night I was watching it and I said, I don't think I've ever had so much purple hair in the bedroom before. But it's fun to put them up on the big TV and not just the phone and bounce it up. And it's kind of like being there, I'm just going out, but it's fun. And I tell people, if you're lonely or depressed, find these online shows, buy yourself a $30 Chromecast and put it up on the big TV and watch it. This is the video that you posted, and we want people to go watch this. You had a great interview, and then Michael was part of the interview. So,
shall we listen to this?
Well, we won't play the whole thing. We just wanted people to show that this is on your YouTube site. And so fast forward a little bit there, you can see where Michael is. The video buffer is a little bit strange within the streaming, but.
And Michael's was the 5th episode in this series, and we have about 10 or 11 in the works right now. So we're going to have them about at least twice a week.
Okay.
Pardon me.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, we'll pull that out. And there we are. And then, so is there anything we didn't cover that you wanted to cover?
I think, no, I think you're pretty astute, Stephen. I think you did a fabulous job. I think I got all my words in, but I do want to say that, there is an opportunity to start getting out in a safe way, to have a little bit of fun. And it might take us all a little bit to kind of figure out where those safe places are that we feel comfortable and that we can enjoy ourselves and kind of be with our friends, but not totally be with our friends. And I know that there's many places reinventing themselves. We are one of them. We have museum tours on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. And they start at 11 o'clock, and it's followed by a beautiful luncheon, and I will keep you very safe. I will ask you to wear a mask, as I will. And then, of course, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights, we can have dinner and cabaret in the lobby, and that is going to be a lot of fun. I mean, that's going to be a good time. So I'd love everybody to come.
And I'm asking everyone this at the end, what are words of encouragement you can give people, personally or professionally, during these difficult times?
Well, I think just to try to manage this time in a calm, kind of reinventing way for ourselves. I mean, the couple of days that I've had a chance to be home and kind of enjoy my home and my puppies, and it's been kind of nurturing. And I think that maybe a little breaks on kind of the chaos that we've all been living has I don't want it to happen this much longer, but it is an interesting time to kind of reevaluate what we hold precious. And my grandmother has a phrase that everybody uses, and but I just when I say it, I think of her, and that is that this too shall pass, and it will.
I pulled out a book. The original date, I think, was 1978. The rewritten date is 1994. I've had it that long, and it's called "Happiness is a Choice," written by Doctors Menrith and Meyer. They have counseling clinics across the country, and I'm rereading that book. That happiness is a choice. And it's difficult to sometimes always think that, but at this time it really is. We have to focus on that and how we can take those kinds of breaks and refocus ourselves.
Yeah.
And then the last thing we always include is the website is Wick Theater. I'm going to have Arthur pull it up. wicktheater.org.
Yes, thewick.org, and our box office phone number is 561 995-2333. And I remind you, if you're looking you want to turn a boring night into something fun, we have at Costume World in Pompano Beach, you can buy a bag of mustaches for about $12 and have a mustache party. Stephen, you won't need one.
That's right.
But lots of fun stuff happening over at Costume World as well. So yeah, it was a pleasure to be on with you. Thank you.
You are always so much fun, and I can tell how hard you work to put on. And the shows are really fantastic. I've been, and it's a great place. And you can look for us at outclick.com, facebook.com/outclick. This will be on our YouTube site. You can, because Outclick is such an original spelling, if you Google it, it comes up. And then you can text OCQ to 22828 for more information on us. Kimberly, you're always a joy, and we really thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to us.
Thank you. I'm so delighted to share with you this afternoon. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
See you again soon. Mwah, mwah,
we look forward to good things to come, and we'll come out and see you soon. Thank you, everyone. Have a great afternoon.